the edge of a huge forest, in a little cottage, lived Hansel and Gretel with their mother and father. One day, while father was at work and mother was shopping at the market, Hansel said,
"Gretel, let's go for a walk in the forest. Maybe we can find some nice berries and bring them home for dinner tonight."
Yes, let's. Mother and Father would be so pleased. I'll pack a nice lunch for us.
When the lunch was all packed in a picnic basket, off Hansel and Gretel went into the forest in search of berries.
"Look, Gretel, there are a lot of berries over here. Come help me pick them. We can put them into the basket with our lunch."
They were having such fun, running from bush to bush, picking berries and trying to see who could pick the most. Time passed very fast.
"Gee, Gretel, I'm hungry. Let's have lunch now."
All right, Hansel. We can sit down in that clearing over there. And then after lunch, we can take a little nap. I'm getting tired.
So am I. We've come farther than I thought we would. I'm going to save some of my bread. Then we can leave a trail of crumbs behind us so we can find our way back.
After their lunch and nap, they started out again. This time, Hansel dropped the crumbs as they went along, running and playing. They hadn't realized how late it was getting, but suddenly Gretel said,
It's getting dark, Hansel. We'd better start back home.
Okay. We'll just follow the breadcrumbs and we'll get back real fast. See? Here they are. Come on, Gretel. I'll race you.
They had gone only a short distance when they noticed that the trail of breadcrumbs had disappeared. The birds in the forest had eaten them.
Oh, Hansel, we're lost. What'll we do? Mother and Father will be so worried. Oh, why did we ever come?
Don't cry, Gretel. I'll take care of you. I'll find the way back. But we'll have to wait until morning. It's too dark now. We'll eat some of the berries for our supper, and then we'll go to sleep.
So they spent the night lying in each other's arms, Hansel comforting Gretel as best he could, for he was frightened too, but he couldn't let her know. When morning arrived, they saw a beautiful bluebird sitting on a branch nearby. It seemed to be calling them. Then it flew towards them and circled above their heads.
Gretel, I think he wants us to follow him. Maybe he'll show us the way home.
Oh, then let's follow him.
In a short while, they came to a wonderful little house.
Isn't that a nice house? Boy, it looks good enough to eat. Gretel, it is good enough to eat. It's made of gingerbread. It's good.
Oh, it has candy on it, too.
They were eating as fast as they could, for they were so hungry. After all, just a few berries for supper the night before wasn't very much. Besides, this gingerbread really did taste good. Suddenly, they heard a voice.
Gnawing like a mouse. Who's that eating up my house?
Then the door opened, and an old woman came out. Hansel and Gretel were so frightened that they dropped the gingerbread and candies they had in their hands. But the old woman smiled and said,
Don't be afraid, little children. I won't harm you. Won't you come in? I have nicer things inside.
So Hansel and Gretel went in. The woman gave them a nice hot dinner and then showed them 2 little beds, so nice and soft. It wasn't long before they fell sound asleep, for they hadn't slept very well the night before, since they were so frightened. But now they felt safe with this kind old woman. Poor Hansel and Gretel. If they only knew how much safer they had been in the forest than they were in the gingerbread house. You see, she wasn't a kind old woman at all. She was a witch. Now I must explain about the type witch she was. She had red eyes, so she couldn't see very well. But her long, pointed, crooked nose was as keen as an animal's, and could scent the approach of children, whom she dearly loved to eat. They were so tender, if cooked correctly. And this is what she had in mind. Early in the morning, before Hansel and Gretel were awake, she took Hansel from his bed and put him in a large chicken coop in the yard. Then she went to Gretel's bed and started shaking it.
Get up, you lazy bones. There's work to be done. Hansel must be fed. He's too thin. I like them fatter. From now on, you're going to cook fattening food for him. Lots and lots of it.
Poor Gretel started to cry and to beg for her brother's life. But it was to no avail. The witch was determined to have her way. So every day Gretel cooked food to fatten up Hansel. Every day the witch went to the chicken coop to see if Hansel was getting fat. A clever Hansel. When she told him to stick his finger through the wiring, Hansel stuck out a chicken bone. Now, as we remember, she couldn't see very well. She just couldn't understand why he wasn't getting fat. After about 2 weeks, she couldn't wait any longer.
Well, Gretel, today I'm going to eat your brother. I can't wait forever. I've already lit the stove. Find out if it's hot enough. I'm afraid I don't know how to tell whether it's hot enough or not. Would you please show me? Silly goose, it's simple enough. You just open the door, put your head in like this.
Clever Gretel. As soon as the witch bent over and put her head in the oven, Gretel pushed the witch, and in she fell. Gretel slammed the door on her. Then she ran to free Hansel.
Hansel, the witch is dead. We're safe.
Just at that moment, a flock of birds, led by the lovely bluebird, flew over and landed on the gingerbread house. Where the candy had been were now precious jewels. Diamonds, pearls, rubies, and emeralds. The birds pecked them from the house and dropped them at Hansel and Gretel's feet. Hansel filled his pockets with them, and Gretel filled her apron. Then the bluebird started circling above them as he had before.
Gretel, see the bluebird? Maybe this time he'll lead us home. Let's follow him.
And that's exactly what the bluebird did. For in a short while they saw the most beautiful house in the world, their own little cottage. They ran toward it as fast as they could, crying out,
Mother! Mother! We're home! We're home!
Their mother and father hugged them and kissed them. They were so happy to have them home again. And Gretel opened her apron and Hansel emptied his pockets. Soon there were jewels all over the floor. Their mother and father were very pleased, but they said that the two most precious jewels of all were their son and their daughter, Hansel and Gretel.